Hi, I'm Megan, and the theory that I'm going to be talking about is cognitive development through four stages. Jean Piaget is the major contributor, along with Carol Gilligan and Lawrence Kohlberg. The theory originally started in 1936 with Piaget, and he was famous for his broad theory of thought regarding cognitive development. Um, Gilligan and Kohlberg were known for cognitive development models of moral development. The cognitive development theory centers around children's internal processes and thoughts, according to the 2017 text, Introduction to Human Development and Family Studies. It's about how kids learn and create their own unique identity, build new skills, and think in complex ways. It also concerns the effect of social interactions on their development, but the main idea is that there are stages of development that kids go through as they mature. The four stages, as defined by WebMD, are sensory motor, which lasts from 0 to 2 years old, pre-operational from 2 to 7 years of age, concrete operational from 7 to 11, and formal operational from 11 to 12 and on. Sensory motor is all about coordination with the senses and motor responses and object permanence. Pre-operational regards symbolic thinking, putting sentences together, and imagination. Concrete operational is about learning time, space, and quantity. And then formal operational is deeper thinking on a higher level. This is Jean Piaget's theory of cognitive development. Piaget said that as kids grow up, their intelligence changes just as their physical characteristics do. Piaget broke up his theory into four different stages, the first being sensory motor, which lasts from birth to 2 years of age. In this stage, children learn with sense and motor skills based on what's right in front of them in their immediate environment. Children will shake and throw things, put items in their mouth, and learn through trial and error. At 5 to 8 months of age, kids learn object permanence, which is when they realize that objects exist even if they can't see them. Language development also begins at the end of this stage. The second stage is the pre-operational stage, which lasts from 2 to 7 years of age. In this stage, children learn that symbols start to represent things. Their imagination also grows. Kids will put their arms out to act as airplanes, mimic another person's walk, or act as though they're a parent to a stuffed animal. They also learn to draw, and draw things such as stick figures that represent their families. Kids also learn to describe things verbally, which means they may be asking a lot of questions to their parents. However, they also may struggle from egocentrism, which is having difficulty understanding someone else's perspective, as well as centration, a narrowly focused type of thinking. The third stage is titled concrete operational, and it lasts from 7 to 11 years old. Here, kids practice decentering, which means they don't think about themselves as much and learn to empathize with others. In this concrete operational stage, kids also realize that their feelings may not be shared by others. Children also begin to recognize similarities in objects, which allows them to organize them by shape or size. The fourth and final stage created by Piaget is the formal operational stage, which begins around 11 years. Here, children take what they learn about symbols and apply it to the classroom for concepts like algebra. This also is applicable for science when working with their hands and understanding more complex concepts. However, children also tend to become more self-conscious and think things are worse than they are, like a pimple is bigger than it is. The theory of cognitive development focuses on the idea that children's intelligence grows as they age through these four stages. A child's cognitive development is not just about acquiring knowledge, but also about constructing a mental model of the world.
Hi, my name is Holly Curran. The second theory is the 8 stages of man. This is a developmental theory introduced by Erik Erikson. He was a German-American psychoanalyst who introduced this theory about 7 decades ago. So he basically proposed that as humans age, we progress through a series of 8 stages in which the personality or the ego develops. And so these stages encompass the entire lifespan. So it starts at birth with infancy and then goes into toddlerhood, preschooler, schooler, adolescence, and then young, middle, and late adulthood. So with each stage, it comes a unique task or psychosocial crisis that with completion, one acquires a virtue that allows development to continue. So this theory is important because it looks at the entire lifespan. So it doesn't just focus on childhood, and it also provides a framework for us to kind of see the challenges that one may face as they age. So at each stage, we can see how one may have challenges with development and how we can deal with those challenges. And finally, it stresses the importance of social relationships and other factors that may affect how one proceeds in their development. And so the second part will look at the crisis of each stage and apply this theory by looking at some examples that may contribute to the successful resolution of that crisis.
This presentation will cover the 8 stages psychosocial development theory, introduced by Erik Erikson. The first stage is infancy, which is ages 0 to 1.5 years. In this stage, the ego crisis is trust versus mistrust. It begins at birth, and the major activity is to survive. With completion, the infant acquires the hope to survive in group. With the top example, the infant's needs have been met, and they are able to develop trust with their caregiver. In the second example, the mistrust can develop if the caregiver is not responsive. The second stage is toddlerhood, ages 1.5 to 3 years. The ego crisis in this stage is autonomy versus shame. In this stage, toddlers begin to develop independence and a sense of autonomy. Here, the toddler is able to pick out his own clothes, developing a sense of independence. The third stage is preschooler, ages 3 to 6 years old. At this age, preschoolers experience initiative versus guilt. Children begin to explore, take initiative, and develop a sense of purpose. In this example, the child has engaged in an activity, riding his bike, allowing him to develop initiative and a sense of ambition. The fourth stage is schooler, ages 6 to 12 years old. The primary crisis at this age is industry versus inferiority. Children become competent in new skills, leading to a sense of industry. At this age, children often attend school and gain confidence by being encouraged to learn new skills. Children who lack encouragement may feel inferior to others. The fifth stage is adolescence, ages 12 to 18 years old. Adolescents begin to explore their interests in hopes of finding their identity. On the right, this teenager has found her identity as a gardener. The next stage is young adulthood, ages 18 to 40 years old. This stage is characterized by intimacy versus isolation. These individuals have developed a strong relationship and gained the basic virtue of love. The seventh stage is middle adulthood, ages 40 to 65. Adults in this stage experience generativity versus stagnation. Individuals focus on contributing to society so that their life does not stagnate. In this example, these adults are expressing generativity by raising their family and guiding their kids through life. And the final stage is late adulthood, ages 65 and over. The psychological crisis is ego integrity for those who see their lives as productive versus despair for those who don't. This woman has expressed ego integrity by looking back at a life well lived with lots of wisdom.